Feeling, Rich?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah? No niggles or anything new that we need to think about?
Nothing new.
Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to work on the jerk tonight. How's that sound?
I've been called a jerk before, so I think it's good.
No, I don't believe that at all. All right. Do you want to grab the bar? All right. We're going to start with some warm up in the jerk grip position, actually, about, yeah, and then up and behind the neck. Yeah. Bring those just a wee bit. There we go. Awesome. Yeah, that's right, Rich. All right. And let's start swimming. And reverse. Good. And then pausing that. Go find it. We're going to pausing that. Heath. Pausing that. We're going to take the right elbow and pull it up. There we go. And down. And the left elbow. Good. And then bringing those hands in next to each other on the pipe. Keeping it behind, putting it back behind the neck. Yep, we're going to let the elbows come up and above the shoulders as much as we can, as if that pipe is weighted. And then from there, we're just going to do 5 pulsating lifts up. Yep. Each time, try to let that pipe come down farther behind the back. Find it. Nice, Rich. That's a good position. All right. Back into the behind the neck. Try not to use your thumbs too much. Okay. Start with some side to side. Yep. Start small and eventually try to get those elbows all the way into the top of the thighs. Good. Okay, from there, we're going to step sideways and come out into a side lunge. No, a side lunge, Cossack lunge. Feet facing forward. And lunge to one side. There we go. Behind your neck. Try to keep the knee in front, not too far out to the side. There we go. How are those hips doing, Rich?
Hips are all right. Those inner hamstrings, they're pretty tight.
Ooh, okay. 5 on each side. Good. And then we're going to come up and we're keeping that bar on the back of the neck. We're going to do some squats. 3 seconds down, 3 seconds up. And fight to keep the chest up and slowly come lower and lower.
I got a PR on my front squat this week that really surprised me.
Oh, no way. What'd you hit?
I got 95.
Oh, crikey. Nice.
And I've been doing 72 for 5 sets of 5. And I thought, oh, and then I was really surprised. I only got it for 1.
Well, that's a 1 rep PB. That's awesome. Wow. Nice work. All right, we're going to move it up to the front now. Yeah, into the front rack position. In that very uncomfortable place that the non-weighted bar takes you, we're going to try our best to keep those elbows up high. If it helps, you can press up into the chin instead of into the neck. That can help keep you from choking out. And about a 2-second squat on these, just 5 of them. Try to keep those elbows driving up as you lower down and staying driving up as you come up. Good.
How many, Ellie?
5, just 5. Nice. All right. Let's go back to the side squats. This time we're going to do the Cossack squats with the front rack position. Try to keep those elbows up, drive them up, drive them up, drive them up. So you're pushing back onto the heels at the same time you're driving those elbows up. Slow it down, drive those elbows up. What? Lift you up. Okay, good. From there, we're going to do some pass-throughs. 10. We're going to start nice and slow, making sure to keep active shoulders the whole way. I want you to fight to keep the pinky engaged, meaning that the arm stays engaged so that you're actively pushing that bar away from you in the front and away from you in the back. Good. Now, if you can, bring your hands in a little closer. Just bring them in a little bit and go for 3 this time. Keeping that rib cage down. Pressing that bar up and away from you. Nice, Rich. That's good range of motion. How's that shoulder feeling?
You know, seems like it's just kind of stuck where it's at. It's not any worse, but I still, it doesn't feel right on anything like pulling or holding my body weight from a bar or anything.
Okay.
But it's got strength and motion, just kind of clunky.
All right.
Pops into place whenever I move it sideways.
Oh, all right. Okay, so then we're going to take the bar and we're going to go up into overhead position and active position. Oh, no. What did that happen? I got it. All right. Oh, that makes me dizzy just looking at it. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about the overhead position today. So want to think about keeping the upper spine in a proper position when you've got your load in place. Yeah. So whether that's in your final lockout of your jerk position, so that looks more like a snap. Yeah. Making sure that those shoulder blades are pulled together and that bar is being pressed up. Then as he slowly lowers down into his jerk position, we want to make sure that the arms lower, but not the shoulders. Yeah, so come back up. Show what it shows like when you drop the shoulders and the arms and just come soft. Well, you can still bring it to the shoulders, but drop the shoulders. There we go. Now, turn the shoulders back on in that locked position. So we want those shoulders engaged and that spine nice and tight, even in the jerk, the beginning of the jerk position. So we're going to look, yeah. So while we're lowering the arms and not the shoulders, we also want to make sure that the bar is in the palm of the hand. Now, this is trickier again when there's no weight into it, but we want to make sure that the bar is not in the fingers and that it's actually touching the palm so that there's no loss of momentum from the dip phase going up and overhead. So coming back into your start position, you're going to slowly lower into the dip phase and hold. You can't get that to your shoulders, can you? Okay, we should have gotten a weighted bar. It's okay. Then lower down into that dip position. Good. Then when you stand it up and press straight up overhead. So I don't know if you can see on Heath's, because he can't keep that bar in his palm, it has to transfer from the fingers to the palm and then go up. And in that moment, in that movement, you're going to lose the power from the lower body. So you want to fight to get into a position where we can keep that bar into the palm of the hand while you're in your setup position. So go ahead and get loaded up. We'll see how we can do with just the non-weighted bars. We're going to pull those shoulder blades back nice and tight and make as big a chest and platform as you can. We're going to push the knees out and then bend down to the start of our dip position. Nice, Rich. That's a good line. And just stand it up. Good. Then we're going to take a deep breath and we're going to go again. We're going to dip down to the bottom of that dip position. Hold it for 2 seconds. And while you do, think about broadening that chest out as much as you can. Squeezing those shoulder blades together, making a big, strong base to fly that bar up with the legs and stand it up. Good. And then again, one more time. Okay, good. This time we're going to do the same thing, but after you stand it up, you're going to press up and overhead. So for 5, you're going to take a big breath, make as big a chest as you can. You're going to drop down into your dip, hold for 2 seconds, stand it up, and then press. Nice active shoulders. Bring it back down. Good. This time, Rich, I want you to try to get focused. Oh. Once you get to the upright position, when you get into your finish position, I want you to try to bring your head through your arms.
Okay.
All right. So backing up, elbows up, strong, big chest. Bring those elbows out if you have to, and start position. Stand it up and press. That's better, Rich. You can see your ears. That's what we want. That bar over your shoulders, and your shoulders are over your hips. Stop. Yeah, lovely line. All right, so that is starting from the clean hold. Yeah, you guys are fighting to get your elbows up as much as you can, like we've come just out of the clean, but we're actually going to have the time to adjust coming out of that clean to be able to drop those arms down. So now we're going to come into the jerk hold. So those elbows don't have to be up quite as high, but they do have to be in front of the bar. We still want to fight to try to get it to our shoulders and keep it in the palms of our hand at the same time. This is going to be the same drill with the same pause at the bottom of the dip position. We're going to pop down, 1, 2, stand, and press. We're just starting, we're just not putting the elbows up into the full front rack. Keith,
okay.
can you get back? Yeah, there we go. Just find that nice jerk position. Somewhere above 45. Yeah, that's great, Rich. Lovely. Dip down. Keep that big chest and that active upper spine. Don't let it roll forward. Good, good. As you come back down, keep it nice and tight. that they'll be watching you for the replays. Good, good. And again. Coming down. Full extension. Press up and through. All right, this time we're going to add a little more oomph to it. So you're going to dip down into the bottom of the dip position. You're going to hold for 2 seconds, and then you're going to make sure that you go through that full range of extension before you press overhead, but we're going to speed it up. Okay, show. Yep. So we start tying in that extension. As soon as those hips open up, those arms go up and overhead. Oh, nice speed, Rich. Lovely. Now, if you're comfortable in that position, Rich, stick with it, but your elbows do not have to stay that high. They could come a little lower.
Okay.
But it's up to you, and it's whether or not you can keep that bar in the palm of your hand. All right. Now we're going to do a reverse of this. Well, not quite a reverse, but we're going to come into our start position or our finish position, up and overhead. As soon as he finishes choking on the water that he was. You need to take a second and clear your. You sure? Yeah. From here, we're going to do some overhead squats in our jerk position. Yeah, I know. Just as best as you can. As soon as you feel that bar pulling you too far forward, I want you to stop. All right, that's enough. And you can come back up. Good. Just fight to keep that bar up and overhead as you're squatting down. Good, buddy. That's getting better as you go, Rich. Nice. So I had an interesting, heard an interesting discussion last week with some folks about the value of the squat jerk. And we don't see it very often outside of the Eastern European or Chinese lifters, but there's a lot of value to training it. Yeah. So one of the things, what? Oh, you can show what the squat jerk is. You just got into it. You're okay. So the squat jerk. There we go. He's trying his best to demo it. There's a lot of value to making sure that you have the mobility and the strength to land in that position. The benefit of it is you can get much lower than you can with the squat. But most of us don't need that for functional work. But if you can start building up how much you can get into that, it will exponentially increase the amount that you're doing in the split jerk.
Okay.
So every once in a while, we're just going to throw those in. We'll start with the overhead, and then we're going to move into some. Sorry, I'm trying to read my notes. Move into some actual squat jerks with just the bar. Whew. Goodness, it's a little bit of a train wreck tonight. So instead of the overhead squats, now we're going to add some speed to it. So starting from the jerk position, your setup position, pulling that upper spine nice and tight, getting that big chest, big base for you from your chest. We're going to go straight into it, slowly lower into the dip, hold for 2 seconds, 1, 2, and up and down. There we go. Try that again. Down into your hold. 1, 2, and up and jerk. There we go. Just for 5. Again. That's good speed into that position. I can see the hesitancy on the squat, Rich. That's okay. Just keep going. The biggest thing that we want to practice when doing this, especially with the light bar, is making sure that we keep the tension in that overhead position, making sure to press up and some degree almost pressing back to make sure that you're keeping that upper back engaged. So let's go back to the start position. Elbows up. There we go. Good. We're going to come back to the start position now, and I want you to find your split. Good. And coming down, I just want you to pulse, drop down and come up and drop down and come up and drop down and come up. All right, Rich, can you do that for 5? So while these guys do this, we're going to talk just briefly about the split jerk position. So there are different schools of thought on splits, but the way that we start with most beginners, and when I say beginners, I mean really most of us that aren't professional lifters in any way, we want to start with the front foot roughly a foot ahead of your base, and the back foot 1.5 feet behind your squat base. You want the same width unless you have an excessively wide squat to give you plenty of plenty of stability in that base. You want to bring that back foot up so that you're clearly on the toe. And from there, we're going to bend down into our lunge position as low as we can go, watching that back foot come up, and then stand it up. Coming back down and up, coming back down and up. Good. Oh, I like the changing camera angle, Rich. Nice.
Is that the right? I mean, is that what the bottom of the feet should look like?
Yep.
Drill?
Yep. Really just want to get comfortable with the idea that you're dropping low into that squat.
Okay.
Ideally, when you have the 100 kilos overhead, yeah, your knee's not going to come that close to the ground.
Okay.
But we want to be able to get deep into it.
I feel like if you say if I have a wide squat, like I feel like I have a wide squat, but I need more than that 1 foot ahead. Did you say 1.5 feet back? That feels really narrow to me.
That's okay. And this is the thing. That's our generic start position. Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you have longer legs than arms, you're going to need a wider position. If you have a longer torso than legs, you might need a slightly shorter position. And it's also up to preference. Okay. So what I want you to find right now is your ideal split squat, split jerk position. Good. And from there, we're going to work a drill where we're just going to come from our start jerk position. Oh, come back down into your there. we're going to dip and drive overhead, just in that position with the legs where they are. You're going to do a little heft so that the hips come up and then you come down underneath. So what we're looking for here is driving up and keeping those shoulders active, but the feet are in place where they should be so that we know exactly what it should feel like when we start moving all the components together. Okay, now Rich, I can't be sure, but I think your knee is coming in front of your ankle.
Yes.
All right, we don't want that.
Okay, so I'm getting the bend in the hips from the back knee.
Yeah, Heath, can you turn sideways? So we want to make sure at the receipt position that that knee is over the ankle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The back knee bends. I'm not talking about that. The back knee bends and the heel is up. And so the dip portion of this comes from the back knee. There we go. So that knee stays over the ankle.
I'm following.
All right.
Okay.
Nice, Rich. That's good. You stopping to look down and check your feet?
Well, I always feel like I'm wobbling. I always feel like I'm losing it, this way, over towards my left foot.
And are your feet wide enough apart?
Maybe not.
That's one of the reasons why we want to try to replicate the stance width of the squat so that we have that nice wide base. If your feet are too close together, it'll feel unstable.
I think that was it. I don't think I'm taking wide enough stance wide.
Okay. Excellent. All right. Well, that's why we're spending some time in it tonight to find that out. Okay. So we're going to do something similar, but we're going to slowly take and add a little moving component each time. So we started off just in the base of the jerk, in the split, just doing the pulsing motion. Now then we added in the overhead motion. Now we're going to add in movement of just the front leg. So coming into your split jerk position. Yeah. Load up into your front rack. We're going to take one step back with the front leg. And from there, we're going to come down into the dip position. And then when we fire up and out, we're going to bring that front leg forward. Good. And reset. Get nice and stable. Make sure those feet are wide enough apart. And go. There we go. So what I want you to pay attention to is that that bar is going straight up and not in front of you. Yeah?
Okay.
We want to keep the bar over the hips. And when the hips move, the front leg moves forward, but the hips only barely move.
Okay.
Good. Small dip. Good. Are you getting a big enough step out front, Rich? There we go. Is that better?
I think so.
All right. I'm totally blowing you off. Can you do 2 more of those? Just 1 more. Oh, this is like absolute amateur hour here tonight. Oh my goodness. There we go. All right. All right. So now we're going to add in the full movement. So you're going to have your feet together to begin with. And now we're going to try coming down into the dip, 2-second pause. Just go from your dip into your split jerk. Watch that back foot, pick it up higher, bend the knee more. There we go. So what we're looking for is to keep that bar position, but then once you land, you're going to check and make sure that your feet are in the position that you've been practicing them in.
Okay.
All right. Another 5, nice and slow. Nikki's got treats for you. Go, buddy. Nice landing position. Now the front foot recovers, then the back overhead. Now what I want you guys to do is keep that bar overhead while you're recovering, right? You have to finish the lift. You want to practice that. Keep those tension in the shoulders while you check out and feel if those feet are in the right place. Bend that knee a little more, Rich. There we go. Because you can, right?
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Because think of it, let's stop this real quick and think of it this way. So come up into the start of the jerk position, Heath. No, thinking of it just like a snatch drop. I want you to drop under it into your split jerk position. Except that bar went really high above where it started. I want you to drop low enough that you're getting underneath it. A little more. Keep the bar where it's at. Drop under the bar. So if you think of it like a drop snatch, where you're trying to lower underneath that weight. Yeah. So ideally, when we're in our jerk position, set up, there we go. We're going to slowly dip down. We're going to press up through extension as that bar is coming up to the top of the head. Maybe if we're really lucky, we're going to get underneath it. But if it's really heavy, which, you know, we want to get to, we're going to be dropping lower and lower. So when we practice these positions, we want to practice landing at different levels. So come up into your start position. Start with a fairly high receipt position. Not from the toes, just dip and drive. Okay, and then come in, recover all the way before you bring that bar down. And go a little deeper this time. Good, recover all the way, good. Now this time go as low as you can. There we go. See how low that back knee is?
Yeah, I saw that. Okay.
Good, all right. So what we're gonna do here is you're gonna do a high receipt, a medium receipt, and a low receipt. Yeah, and we're gonna go through each one of those 3 different times. And then you're going to take a little break between them, because if you're staying under proper tension for this, it should be pretty tiring. All right. So you're going to do 1 shallow jerk, 1 medium. Don't go up onto the toes. There we go. And 1 deep. Then take a break and then go again. All right. Good. Make sure those arms keep driving until the feet are back in line. Okay, now I didn't see full extension on the hips.
Okay.
Make sure you get opened all the way before you drop. That's better. Now on the next ones, I want you to go ahead and take your break, shake it out. I want you to really keep that hip extension that you had going before, okay? Don't drop too soon. Get nice and tall.
Okay.
Oh my goodness gracious. We've got to get a stand. This is silly. Well, it's just not in a grand position tonight. All right. Good, Rich. That's a solid landing position. Does it feel stable?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, nice. Yeah, there's the extension. Good, good, good. Now make sure that knee doesn't touch the floor, but just make sure that you're comfortable getting nice and low. Yeah. Because
Okay.
one of the things that we were seeing at the December lift off, right, was a lack of comfort with getting under the bar.
Oh yeah.
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 So we want to make sure that we're comfortable dropping underneath. And we don't think about that as much with a jerk as we do with a snatch. But we need to, because it's only, as it gets heavier, it's only going to go so far off the shoulders. And then we've got to get underneath it in that nice, strong, locked out position and keep that as we stand it up. All right. So let's go through one more time on those. All right, we're gonna add something in. We're gonna do one more set of those. I know I made it sound like it was the last, but I lied. And what I want you to think about is squeezing your bum at the top of the extension. So as you're setting up, and again, pulling that tension through the backside as well as the upper back should put you into a really strong and solid receipt position. Because in addition to that footwork, which looks really good, we need that upper body to be all tied in. Yeah. So once you squeeze the backside, the lower body is set, then that upper body needs to match it. All right. One more set. Dropped when the dog came by. Hi, Carol. These are my notes from the day.
We do that.
Oh, oops. That was nice depth, Rich. Good. All right. So do you have a band at home?
Yeah, I got one here.
Awesome. So we're going to put it onto the middle of the bar. You can do that, or you can just actually fit it around the bar as well. So I want you to step one foot into it. You might want to do it the other way so that it has more space to give. So you have weights at home if you're doing your 1 rep max, yeah?
I was squatting in Rory and Ellie's garage.
There we go. Oh, okay. Go. All right. So now using a band, you can stand on it with 1 foot Come back up into your front rack position. We're still looking at the jerk, so we're going to come up here. Good. And from there, we're going to come down into that dip phase. Try to put the band on the inside of your knee if you can. There we go. And then you're going to go up and overhead. Now you really have to push to get that up there, yeah? So that's a way of working on that back tension without weights. Yeah, yeah, keep it in the middle. Good. Make sure you're squeezing those upper shoulder blades together. Come down. Don't forget the dip. You're going to dip, squeeze the bum to stand it up, press up and overhead. Good. Just for 5 of those. Tricky part with this is that you can't really bring your head through, which is problematic. Ah, Rich did it. He's on it. Oh, that's a nightmare. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Okay. So another thing that you can do is you do the same thing, but you attach it down the back. Okay. Can you please take it around to the back? There we go.
Okay, okay.
And you can work off of behind the neck. What did you say? I'm sorry. No, you want to keep that foot down. That's for sure. But you come back up into that nice big position, pulling those shoulder blades back nice and tight. You still make a big chest as if you were going from the front, and you drive up by squeezing the bum and pressing overhead, and then hold overhead. 1, 2, 3, and down. Take a big deep breath. Go again. Dip for 2. Up for 3. 1, 2, 3, and down. Dip down for 2. Squeeze up. 1, 2, 3, and down. So let's do a set of 5 of those. So the nice thing about this is with the band, you can see a lot of movement, and we don't want to see any movement overhead. We want everything to be locked in nice and tight. Yeah. Thursdays may need to become nap days.
I feel like something hilarious is about to happen any moment.
Getting really worried. It's creeping towards the back of my heel.
Okay. All right. So go slow. 1, 2, up and overhead and hold. Now here, he's holding particularly stable now, but earlier you could see the movement. We wanted that bar should be pressing up to the ceiling so much you don't see any movement side to side. Everything's driving up. So the band is really useful for that. You should be able to feel if one side is pressing up more than another. Because the fulcrum's in the center and the weight's not out on the end of the bar, it forces a more even press between the 2 arms. Good. That looks nice and stable, Rich. All right. One more set of 5 on those. Take a break, shake it out. 2-second dip, 3 seconds up and overhead, pushing that bar up squeezing everything from the legs all the way up through the top of the shoulder so that that bar is as stable and the body is as rock solid as it can be. Nice. That's good extension. That looks pretty solid, Rich. Nice. How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels all right.
Yeah, no difficulty keeping the hands even?
No, not with the hands, the shoulder, but I think it's just that top position's not warmed up a lot yet.
Okay. Well, that's one that we want to start adding in more, because when we've got the weight on the ends of the bar, you can make a lot more accommodation with one side stronger than another. When it's in the center, you can't afford to do that because there's nothing to pad it out.
Okay.
So, all right, where are we at? Oh, excellent. All right, we're coming down to the end. What was that face for? Oh, all right. Okay, so last week we did helicopters, yeah?
Yeah.
This week we are going to do some side to side work. So with the bar up and overhead like you've had it, we're going to come into a just squat or slightly wider base. No, sorry, just for the feet. Your feet in your squat stance or slightly wider. The bar is going to be on the back of the neck. And then going as slow as we can, we're going to try to reach just down one side. Try not to alter those hips. Keep them in one place. So come back up straight. See how those hips are shifting? I want you to keep the hips where they are and just use the side to bend and control. Good, good, good. And then come back up, but slower. What? Yeah, squeeze the bum to come up and squeeze through the side. So the goal is we want to be able to get to where we can maybe touch that bar a little closer without popping that hip out. Keep those hips nice and solid. All the movements through the center. Good, and squeeze and come up. 5 on each side. Slower coming up. All right, and we're going to intersperse these with some single-legged glute bridges. So coming down onto the floor. So we're trying to build a really stable platform for these jerks. So nope, come up. Okay, bring your feet in closer to your backside. Okay, now I want you to lift your right leg out, and I want straight all the way out, but bring it up even with the other leg. Keeping it even with the other leg as you lift your hips up off the floor. Good. Now squeeze your knees together and keep them together. 2. That's it. For 10. Try to keep those legs nice and even by squeezing to keep the knees together through the whole range of motion. Ten on each side. Put your hands down by your hips, bud. Work it out. Stay nice and stable. You're wiggling all over the place. There we go. Nice and controlled. All right, then another 10 side bends and another 10 glute bridges. Good. Try not to let those hips push out. Nice, Rich. The slower you do these, the more you'll get out of them. You want that control through that midsection. You can still do it in your like normal jerk position. You don't have to look like a scarecrow hung up on a. Oh, okay. Pushes in a little more mobility this way. Nice and slow. And then back down for 10 on each side. Knees together. Fully extended out. There we go. Good. Try to be stable. And one more set, Rich, of each. Did you get 10 on each side?
No.
No.
Ellie, is it 10 per side or 5 per side?
Ideally 10 per side,
Okay.
but just when you lose the tension, then be done. Yeah, because if you can't stay tense, it's just a waste of effort. So if 10 is too much, then just build up to that. Loss of tension. You lost the tension. Yeah, I see that. You're laying on the floor. That's nice speed, Rich. Good control. And when you go to start doing these with a barbell, that weight shift will become really significant. But you'll have a nice set of control built in to manage that. Good. Keep those knees squeezed together nice and tight so that you're keeping that angle on the leg. Just throw one at Heath. That'll get him. Well, he has to make an appearance at the end of class. That's the rule. That's good pacing, Rich. Nice. Well done. You're like, can we go back to the jerks now? That's easier. Your shoulder positioning is looking a lot better though.
You know, I feel like mobility, like I can feel the positioning, like even like we've been last week we were doing on the overhead squats, and it seems like the more often I've done them, it just feels better.
Excellent. That's good. Sometimes really it's, especially with overhead squats, it isn't a matter of just doing them and doing them not under excessive load.
Okay.
Finding that proper position, getting used to it. I cannot recommend door frame overhead squats enough.
I got to figure out how to do that in my flat. Right now, it seems like there's everywhere in my flat, there's either they got the raised part where you can't put your feet in the middle or in front of the door.
Oh.
Like not a door jam, but on the floor.
Yeah. Yeah, in
But-
my house, I can't put up a pull-up bar.
Oh,
We don't have a single door jamb that will allow me to put up one. It's always been a bummer, but you know, hopefully we won't be here forever. But the next time you're at a place with a squat rack and you're working on that front squat, in
yeah.
your warm up, you can just take the PVC pipe and work on the rack. Take the J clips off
Yeah.
and use the rack as a door frame.
Okay, I got you. I'm following.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's all
it's a
I'm
good
doing right
warm-up.
now is front squats. So I just trying to do it once a week.
Yeah, well, that'll be a good warm up for your front squats.
Awesome. That's a good idea. Thank you. I've been doing those band pull aparts a lot too. I think they're helping.
Oh, good deal. Excellent. Yeah, I'm not going to cast any aspersions on your age, Rich. I'm just going to say that as we get older, and I'm with you here, it just takes a lot more of the basics to keep the joints working or getting the joints back to working the way they should.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I believe you. I'm finding that. And kind of think it seems like the more repetitions I put into something at a lighter weight seems to help me in the long run too. So
Yeah. Yeah. And I say that, but the truth is, I mean, there are kids in the gym and in other places I've been that deal with these same issues from either, excessive use of certain movements, in their youth or not doing enough in their youth. And they have just as much trouble getting into those positions. It's just that it doesn't take as long for them.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But the nice thing is, I've seen athletes in their 70s and 80s making progress through joints that they had thought would be restricted for ages. So it really is just that meticulous kind of dedication to constantly putting something into it. So,
Yeah.
and right now we have time to do that.
That's right. Yeah.
It's a bonus. It's a bonus of lockdown. Well, it was nice to see you. Thanks for joining.
Yeah. Thank you for putting on the class. Appreciate it. Tell Heath I said thanks for doing it. But I
Yeah.
enjoyed it a lot.
Oh, yay. It's good to see you. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.